This is Mike with GRETA'S Guns, and we're here today because HK just sent us the first batch of the California VP9. So they've pretty much put one of every model on the roster so far in black. So you've got the SK, you've got the standard VP9s in optic cut and non-optic cut, and then you have the VP9L. So there's really not a ton that's different between the California legal VP9s as an off-roster one. The way that they were able to get these on the roster, you know, having the magazine disconnect and the loaded chamber indicator, they did it very, very thoughtfully. It's minimally obtrusive inside the gun, and honestly, it should be pretty easy to delete the California features if you choose to. So, one of the big things, magazine disconnect. So, if there's no magazine in it, you can't pull the trigger. And it also has a loaded chamber indicator. So, the cool thing is, loaded chamber indicator is actually inside the extractor. So I haven't tried this yet, but you should be able to order a factory extractor and drop it in there if you want to get rid of the loaded chamber indicator. Deleting it shouldn't be too bad either. You could see it there on the front of the breech face, and if you just remove the hook, you know, basically would delete it and it wouldn't function anymore. So we'll kind of show you this. We've got a snap cap, and you can see it just barely sticks out. It's enough to feel it, and then it's painted red so that it's visible. So that way you know when it's loaded. That's kind of what California wanted. Alright, so as far as the magazine disconnect is concerned, the way that they implemented it into the VP9 is actually pretty smart. There's a piece in here called the disassembly safety. So you can't rotate the slide takedown lever unless the magazine is out of the gun. So you'd remove the magazine, lock the slide to the rear, drop the lever, drop the slide. So normally you could just pull the trigger here and the slide would move forward, but you obviously have a disconnect. The only way to get this to disconnect is to stick a tool in here, disengage the takedown safety, pull the trigger, and then the slide will slide off. So here's a regular VP9. I've had this one since, I don't know, 2015 or so. Pull the trigger, slides off. So a little bit easier. And so a lot of people are probably going to delete the disconnect in this. Now, again, the way that they designed this is very smart. It was probably really easy for them to manufacture or change manufacturing methods to do this, but removing it isn't going to be quite as easy. So this isn't a part you're going to be able to just remove, because it's going to basically remove the safety for the lever. So you can see here, the trigger bars are designed the same. It looks pretty much identical. I haven't removed one yet to say for certain, but this here is the disassembly, or the takedown safety. Okay, so in order for you to be able to manipulate this, this has to be in the down position, because when you insert the magazine, it lifts it up. So if I lift this up, I can't disengage the takedown. So this is the California one. This is the same safety, and you can see I can't pull the trigger beyond a certain point. With the magazine inserted, it'll lift it and the trigger bar can pass it. So essentially all they did was they took that safety and they added a hook to it that engages the trigger bar in a location that already existed. So basically, if you were to take this piece out, cut this hook off, your disconnect would be gone. Or you could probably purchase a factory takedown safety that doesn't have the magazine disconnect hook on it, and it should drop in there. Again, I haven't confirmed that because I haven't taken it all the way apart yet and tried it, but it looks like that should work. Now going back together, just like a regular VP9, log it back, take down lever, insert your magazine, you're good. So it's nice to see the VP9s added to the roster. Everybody's putting striker fires on now. Obviously, you know, SIG's done a ton. Springfield's brought the Hellcats and the Mod 2s, and you've got a couple Rugers, all kinds of stuff coming. When the VP9 got launched, it was a super big deal back in, I think, 2014 or 15. The triggers in these guns, they break super nice. They pull from the factory about 5.5 pounds. This one I messed with a lot of years ago, and I ended up putting a Lazy Wolf trigger in it because that's all that basically there was at the time. Well, Gray Guns literally messaged me last night and said that their triggers are ready. So we're going to get a bunch of their stuff in, so we're going to be ready to tear these things apart. I'm going to tinker with the inside of mine and see what, you know, what I can do to the inside of this thing and make it better. You know, I haven't really messed with it too much as opposed to the SIG stuff or obviously Glocks and all that. So very soon here we'll have all the new Gray Guns parts I don't know what else they're planning on making just yet, if anything, but another cool feature for the VP9s is you have interchangeable grip panels. So, you know, prior to the SIG stuff where you had the ability to change grip modules, different sizes, basically these things, you can slide the back strap out, you can slide the side panels out, and they make different swells. So you can completely change the way the grip feels in your hand, which is super nice. And having little finger grooves in it, you know, they give you plenty of space. It's not like a Glock where the finger grooves are kind of small, but then also very pronounced. These are actually super comfortable. So each gun is going to come with small, medium, and large back straps and palm swell inserts. So you can really set it up the way you want. You know, if you're right-handed and you want the right side swell to be very large, and you want the left side to be very small, and you want like a medium contour in the back strap, you could really set this up to be perfect for your hand. You can't change the grip length, but you can pretty much change the overall size to really any way that's going to fit your hand the best. There's not really a difference in the triggers that I can tell. They're all pretty much the same, but obviously we're going to chop a few of them up and see what we can get out of them. The VP9L does have an O-ring style barrel lockup, similar to the USPs and all that stuff. The other guns do not. They lock up standard like everything else out there. Other than that, as far as what I could tell at first glance, that's really the only differences in these guns from an off-roster one. Again, it's going to be super easy to essentially convert it to a standard VP9 if you don't want the California safety requirement stuff in there. Having optic cut slides from the factory is super nice, so you can really kind of pick these things up out of the box, throw an optic on it, and these are going to be really awesome guns to have. A ton of people, now that CCWs are getting real prevalent here in California, are going to go with the SK. We've already had a ton of people asking about that once we posted it. So overall, you know, whether you want a home defense gun, a competition gun, or a carry gun, HK is giving you an option for everything. So if you have any questions, leave a comment below.